Before the Aztec and Maya civilizations, there was another civilization. 1600 years before the birth of Christ, the first Mesoamerican society was born. This civilization was the Olmecs. Their civilization would last for another 1,250 years before it was disbanded. Within what is now the two Mexican states of Veracruz and Tabasco is where the Olmecs began their civilization. Olmec is Nahuatl, which is the Aztec language for rubber people. The reason that they are called the rubber people is because the Olmecs would create and trade rubber with other Mesoamerican civilizations. It's actually unknown what the Olmecs called themselves because they didn't actually write much down, and we don't even know what language they spoke. The Olmec civilization began around 1600 BC. Their cultures influenced later civilizations, such as the Maya and Aztec civilizations. When you think of the Aztecs, I bet that you're probably thinking about is a massive stone heads that they would make out of basalt. The thing is, there was a meme going around a couple years ago about a stone head being found in Ethiopia. Don't worry, I'll debunk that in a second. Anyways, one of the most popular sports in ancient Mexico, which was Mesoamerican ball game, might have been invented by the Olmecs. And it might have also inspired soccer. Even though there's no written records of it, there's evidence that the Olmecs would travel throughout Mesoamerica. Olmec artifacts have been found throughout Mexico and Central America, and likewise there have been artifacts from across Mexico and Central America found in Olmec towns and cities. Even though the Olmecs would support large towns and cities, the majority of the Olmec people would live in small villages. The cities themselves were used for ceremonial purposes, as well as for government officials. Using slash and burn techniques, the Olmecs would make fields used for growing crops. Olmec art helps us understand who and what they would worship. They worshipped about 8 deities, each one not being female or male, but having features of both. They were usually depicted as monsters, and their ceremonies would be held in the massive cities of La Venta and San Lorenzo. Olmec would craft their art out of jade, clay, and basalt. This would usually be made to imitate nature, but some of them would be human-like creatures. They would also make art out of religious figures, which is how we know more about what their religion was. One piece of art that would spring to mind when we think of the Olmecs is the colossal heads that they would craft out of basalt. These heads were originally crafted in about 900 BC. Each one would have a unique headdress, meaning that they might have represented Olmec leaders. The Olmecs would roll boulders from faraway places to their homeland in southern Mexico. These heads seemed important in Olmec culture, which meaning, as I might have said before, that they were probably represented important figures. We still don't know how exactly that they would move the boulders, but they did align the boulders in specific patterns. It's unclear why, but during 400 to 350 BC, the Olmec population steadily decreased. This may have been caused by a lack of water, but some people also believe that may have just been a relocation to another safer part of Mexico because of active volcanoes. Either way, this brought the end of the Olmec civilization. A couple of years ago, there was a meme going around about an Olmec head being found in Ethiopia. The people believed that because of this, it was proof that the Africans had discovered America and that the Olmecs were either descended from them or mixed with them. This isn't true, and I'm going to explain why. During World War II, the Mexicans actually greatly helped Ethiopia gain their independence from Italy. To commemorate them, they built a little city in Ethiopia called Mexico Town. And in Mexico Town, they decided to eventually bring an Olmec statue, which was donated in 2010 to Ethiopia, and put it in Mexico Town. When people say that there's an Olmec head found in Ethiopia, that is the one that they're talking about. They're talking about the one that's in Mexico City, or Mexico Town, actually. And that was donated in 2010. So, yeah. You've reached the end of the video, so I hope that you enjoyed it, but I do want to say sorry for not uploading in a while. There will be a couple more episodes coming out in a couple of weeks. So, anyways, see ya.